Vice News is reporting on some good news about the drug war. They say, a task force appointed by Congress to suggest ways to reduce the federal prison population and improve the correction system provided its final recommendations to the White House today, including changes that both the executive branch and Bureau of Prisons can enact without any approval from Congress. They continue. The chief among the recommendations of the bipartisan task force is sending fewer low-level drug offenders to federal prisons and sentencing offenders to far fewer years behind bars, which would reverse two of the changes that have driven the federal prison population to grow by 700% since 1980. That's an amazing number. 700% growth since 1980, all mostly because of the drug war. In their final report, members suggest that the prisons should actually devote more resources to addiction treatment, cognitive behavioral therapy, classes, and faith programs, and incentivize participation by offering offenders reducing time from their sentences and a second look at their cases by a federal judge after they've served a certain number of years. Okay, so this is great news, because what they're saying is we gotta move away from this era of mass incarceration, and we have to move away from zero-tolerance policies and mandatory minimums, and it just doesn't make any sense anymore because of the overcrowding of our prisons, and we can't take it anymore. We can't handle it anymore. We don't have the resources. Now, I mean, of course, there are going to be some people who are against this, and there are some special interests that are fighting the decriminalization and perhaps legalization of marijuana, and oftentimes, that's people in the DEA, for example, whose jobs depend on drugs continuing to be illegal and continuing to be criminalized. That's the pharmaceutical industry. That's the alcohol industry. They view marijuana and other drugs as their competition, so they want to try to do political donations to prevent this from going any further. But if you look at what's happening now in Colorado and Washington, for example, there's so much tax revenue as a result of this that there's this booming semi-legal, because at a federal level it's illegal, but at a state level it's legal, industry, this marijuana industry, and once they get more power and more money and more institutional leverage than the opposing lobbyist interests from the people we just named, well, then it's tick-tock. It's a matter of time until weed is legal in the United States of America. Never mind just decriminalized. But that's why I actually get frustrated when I read articles like this, even though it's good news, because there's always this slow, long evolution to maybe not get to the right place or a better place. Cut the fucking foreplay out. Just wake up tomorrow and legalize, tax, and regulate it. Or at the very least, decriminalize it or change the schedule of it. But it's always like, well, we formed a bipartisan commission and they say that maybe we can limit the number of time that the amount of time people spend in jail, and maybe that's a little bit better. And yeah, okay, whatever, that's better, but let's go all the way. What are we waiting for? We know what the right thing to do is.